Going to do the pros and cons of the park, and then we're going to do pros and cons of industry work there. So we went ahead and had a reservation, headed to a park, and this place was called Oak Plantation outside of Charleston and Johns Island.
The only park that's closest to Charleston.
Let us beware. The only park. So we went for it because there was no other options for RV, and we really wanted to do Charleston. We had been there before, so we committed. So here, we'll start with the negatives. Pulling into this park sucks. It states that it's really outside the city, which it is, but let me tell you, since the city's expanded so large and so fast, it's a 2-lane highway to this campground, and man, do you sit in
to bumper
traffic. You will sit in traffic for 40 minutes just waiting to get into that park, which makes the end of your day so frustrating because by the time you come home, you're so exhausted that you spent majority of your time traveling to the RV park, which again, could be great if the pricing was there, but let's talk about another negative. They tell you at this park that, hey, we have a waiting list. It's all lies. What they do to you is they will tell you this because they want you to come in and be on a good behavior trial, and they will charge you almost $500 a week to park your rig, stating that you're waiting to get a long-term spot that only cost you half that cost at $1,100. Now that sounds great, RVers. $1,100. That's amazing. They made us sit and wait for almost 2 weeks, toying with our emotions and our financials to see when we could have a spot when we walked around the whole RV park and there was 50 to 100 spots open. To us, that's really disrespectful and sad as full-timers. And again, if we don't have that extra chunk of change sitting in the bank, how can we just sit there and waste $2,000 a month on an RV park that had no pool open? And we arrived in
the saddest amenities I've ever seen. The oldest,
bathhouse, not
dirtiest
clean.
Bathhouses. There was 2 washers and 2 dryers for an enormous park. There was constantly a wait, and not to mention the fire ants that ate my feet alive every day.
And to add a little bit to that, then when you go to the office to ask for help, it is a privately owned park, and we all know how that can go sometimes, good or bad. And it's ran by 2 very young gentlemen who, again, Kelly went to go explain, hey, can we just get some spraying on the property? We are paying $2,000 for grass, to be told, what would you like me to do? That's nature. So we would suggest check out the link. We're not here to tell anybody to not go anywhere. It's called Oak Plantation in Johns Island. But we want to be real with our viewers that these are going to be the struggles you're going to run into by going here. So now on the flip side of trying to make that work, going out in downtown Charleston, man, did it had some of the beautiful things. And we'll talk about that in our other segment of dining out and all the greatness of the pros and cons of doing that. But Kelly's going to explain real quick how not difficult it was to find industry work in downtown Charleston.
Well, I'll start by saying that there's probably 20 jobs listed on Indeed and trying to find work. I did apply on every single one of them, and I did get one interview where I was interviewed by pretty much a 22-year-old. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm not going to knock her because she's just doing her job. And the fact that if you do want to make money down there, you have to work downtown, which is going to be bumper-to-bumper traffic, 0 parking. Not fun.
So this is what we have to kind of put back into our ideas of what works for us and not, because when we arrive to a place and need to be able to commit to just start making some extra cash while I'm doing the sales end, these kind of things can be difficult for us because to struggle to drive an average of 2.5 hours a day there and back to go work in the city just didn't work for us to be paying the $2,000 in rent. And again, it is a very, very young scene. There is a lot of college universities on Charleston, but there's a lot of good old bars and a lot of good old souls there. So the difficulty with finding work wasn't that it was difficult. There are a lot of options, but again, it's either you got to get into the right place because there is an age demographic for Kelly's age to be a bartender, or you're going to be bartending next to a 20-year-old that has no experience, perhaps. So these were the struggles that we saw in Charleston that made us have to make a decision to move quick and fast and get out of there, which we're going to describe in the next video on how things can go wrong so fast, and you got to be able to bounce back. Because with Charleston not working out for us, we were forced to move within a week and a half and just change our travels 100%.
Angry RV hippies.
Okay.
It's not turning off. Okay.